Hello everyone, this is Brian with Spacebound DIY. Today I'm going to show you how to select and install an upstream O2 sensor or oxygen sensor for the 2002 through 2007 year models of the Dodge Grand Caravan. My model is a 2005, so things look just slightly different on yours. That would be why. However, this should apply to any 2002 through 2007 model. I'm going to start out just going over some basic information that you're going to need to know to select the correct O2 sensor for your vehicle. From there, I'll move outside and actually show you on my van how to go about this process. To start off, which error code are you receiving? So from the P0030 through P0032, it's the Bank 1 Sensor 1 or upstream O2 sensor. For the P0036 through P0038, it's going to be your downstream sensor. These first ones up here may show up as a Bank 1 Sensor 1. For these down here, it might show up as a Bank 1 Sensor 2. But again, this is upstream, this is downstream. All that really means is where it's located on the vehicle, whether it's before the catalytic converter or upstream, or after the catalytic converter, downstream. You're going to need to know which engine you have. That's what this is right here. So look at your VIN number, and you can find your VIN number on the EGR plate, and I'll show you where that's at, as well as on your insurance documents, a number of different places. So look at the 8th digit of your VIN number, and it's going to have a letter there, and that's your engine code. It could be an E, R, L. There are a number of different codes that are used, but just look at that digit, and that will tell you what you need to look for when you're selecting your sensor. I'll put links to each one of the sensors that are available in the description below that will link you over to Amazon. I do receive a small commission for you clicking over to that, so I greatly appreciate you using that. That's the only compensation I get for putting this together. So moving on, the last thing you might see is the XZZ option. Do you have an XZZ option? So this is the EGR plate that I was talking about. Just looking under my hood here. It's right here on the left side, just over the alternator, and it's going to be a data plate that shows a bunch of information about your vehicle, including the VIN number, which is right here, starting with the 1, Delta 4 on down. So looking through, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see right here I have an R engine on my van. All that XZZ means is it's a mid-year option. If you have the original dealer invoice, it would show you if it's a mid-year option, but if you're not sure, you can just look at this plate here. Whenever you're selecting your O2 sensor, there will be a couple of options. One will be XZZ option, the other one will be EXC. It will look something like this, and what that means is except, all except XZZ. So if it's an XZZ, then it's for the ones that are mid-year. They might have had some changes made to them when they were released. Otherwise, it's for everyone except or excluding the XZZ option. So that's about it for this part. Let's go ahead and move outside and get to work. So this is looking under the hood of my 2005 Dodge Grand Caravan. The upstream O2 sensor, which is the one you're going to be looking for, is going to be right back here up against the firewall. Get a better shot here. There we go. So yeah, there's your upstream O2 sensor. There's your catalytic converter, and sticking out the side of it is your downstream O2 sensor. Kind of blurry back there in the back. Follow this back. You'll have a simple clip-in pigtail right there. This little clip on the side will have to be slid back. I'll go over that in a minute. The hard part about getting this thing out is you can't use a standard socket because of the wire sticking out of it. So you're going to need to use a special O2 sensor socket. Looks like this. It's a socket with a nice little groove there. So the way that's going to go on, back in place here. Take your socket, and line it up over that wire, and drop it down over it. Now, I've already used a 3/8 inch wrench to get down here and break the seal on it. So I'm able to just hand turn it now. But you see with that wire right in that groove, you can slip right over it. There's another kind of wrench that you can get that I've found to be impossible to use. Looks like this right here is very hard to work with. So I tend to go with the socket type right there. So the way these connectors hook in, before we get back in there, it's going to be kind of hard to see once I do. You can see this tab will click down. It won't do it until you've actually gotten it plugged in. It pushes that out to where it can actually slide into place. So whenever you take out your old O2 sensor, you'll take this little tab with your fingernail, slide it back, then you're going to push this tab in the middle and then pull the connector back. So just come on over and start taking off the old one. Alright, so you can see, there it is. Alright, Kara, if you can just hold that in place. So this is that little connector I was talking about. And that's how it is whenever it's secured. So just want to slide that back. Use your thumb for that. And you'll mash down on this center piece between the red and then pull it apart. It might fight with you a little bit, but it will come off. Squeeze the tab, pull it off, just like that. That's all there is to that. Now that that's disconnected, if you break the seal on the sensor first or you unhook it first, you're just going to have to make sure that it's unhooked before you finish unscrewing it, because you've got that wire there in the way. So, now that this is unhooked, we can unscrew this sensor. It's real fun getting back here. You're going to have to lay right over your engine, so make sure that the vehicle's been turned off for a little while. There's our nice carbon covered O2 sensor. Alright, so here's our new O2 sensor. Go and tear this tab off. And we'll put a coat of this goo on into the threads. To be completely honest, I'm not entirely sure what this stuff does. But there we go. All right. There we go. And just screw it back in. Make sure that washer stays in place. You can see the gel squishing out there on the sides. All right. And once you get it on, take your socket back under there, slip it over the wire, down over the sensor, get it seated in there. Get back in here, accidentally turn this off. I have to do a bit of editing so this isn't so choppy. There we go. So just, you're not gonna have to go very far with it, just a little, maybe a quarter turn, just to make sure that it's secure in there. It doesn't take much. You just slip it out of the way. So, trying to get both hands under here, what I find to work is if this little pleated manifold here, put your left arm underneath it, and that'll allow you to hold the back side of the connector. I feed the wire underneath this hose, so you don't have it sitting on top of that hose with hot fluid flowing through it. So just take these, curved in to curved in, slide it on until it clicks, and push that red tab down to lock it in place. And your new O2 sensor is installed. So that's all there is to that. As you can see, it's not a whole lot. It's kind of a pain to get to. Just get back there, right underneath the firewall. Once again, there's your catalytic converter. And then on down on your catalytic converter, you can see the downstream O2 sensor as well. This first one here is what you're going to hear referred to as a bank 1 sensor 1, or upstream. It could be called either way.
If you're not exactly sure which one to get for your vehicle, just again check out the first part of the video and I'll explain exactly using your VIN number to figure out precisely which one you need. And then the links to those, as well as the link to the tool that you're going to need for this, will be in the description section below. This is Brian with Spacebound DIY. If this helps you out, please like, comment, it helps me out. And thanks for watching.